Good morning, baseball fans, and welcome back to Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. To be fooled by that fancy name, it's just me and some friends talking about baseball cards. Well, today, no friends, except for the friends that I will be mentioning shortly, and not really much in the way of baseball cards. So this is my video where I pick my 10 nominations for the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. Just wanted to give a shout out to Jake from Legends Never Die, who, despite having two children, including one who was just born a few months ago, is still taking on a ton of responsibility and going through and doing all the computing and all the votes and all that stuff. And just big shout out to him, and of course, big shout out to Oakley, who's just come into this planet a few months ago. So good for them. So Jake did his video on Friday talking about the rules, which, I'm now a year and a half in YouTube, so I'm eligible to vote. Anybody who's been on YouTube for 3 or more years is eligible to be nominated. But the idea of who is a YouTube Sports Card Hall of Famer is something that has been sort of left to the voters themselves. And to me, I decided to come up with sort of a reasoning for why I voted for certain people and why I think certain people would be Hall of Famers. And I know it sounds trite, but I came up with the 4 C's. So the 4 C's are content, collection, collaboration, and community. And what I mean by that with content, obviously, it's self-explanatory. Make regular videos, have your videos be informative or fun, or however it is that your personality comes out in those videos, and make videos that we want to watch. Collection, obviously, everybody has a collection. Whether that collection is world-class or whatever fits within your means, exactly what it's supposed to be. The collection is supposed to be who you are. And people who celebrate their collections, talk about their collections, to me, are Hall of Famers. When it comes to collaboration, I think that if you sit in front of a video screen for all your videos and you never talk to anyone else and you never go on other people's channels or have people on your channels, I think you're doing a disservice to yourself and to YouTube, because I think collaboration is a way to bring out the best in people. And all of the people that I'm voting for have done collaborations and have done them quite successfully. And the 4th is community. YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame is about a community. And while it may seem that community is a popularity contest, it really isn't. Because what you're doing when you are a Hall of Famer is you're supporting other channels. You're going on the channel, you're watching channels, you're subscribing to channels, you're commenting. You are giving people the kind of positive reinforcement that helps their channels improve. And if you're doing that as a YouTuber, you're a Hall of Famer in my eyes. So the 4 C's are what I base my votes on. And I feel like all 10 of these individuals do all 4 of those things, some more than others. Some are very content oriented, some are very community oriented, but that's just part of the equation. So let me get to the 10 nominees. And so these first 2, I'll click the first one and the second one. These 2 are no surprise. I had both Dylan and Orlando on a live stream a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this. Both of them are newly eligible this year, and both of them are literally first ballot Hall of Famers as far as I'm concerned. Dylan and Orlando are people who, as much as you like them on their channels, when you meet them in person, they're even better. And what I mean by that is that the enthusiasm and the knowledge and just the personality driven aspect of Dylan's channel is even greater when you meet him in person. I clicked with him literally within seconds talking to him. And, we collaborated. Of course, Dylan does a lot of collaborations, including his excellent series with Adam, which we'll talk about Adam in a little bit. But he also has a great collection, shares his knowledge, shows off cards, talks about what he's thinking. I mean, to me, this is exactly what a YouTuber should be. in the sports card realm. So Dylan, Double D, obvious choice. Orlando, as I said, wonderful man, does so much for the community. His collaborations, his content, everything. Absolutely. And of course, his collection, which was the reason why he started his channel. He's talked about the reason why he started his channel is to show his collection to his family. But, obviously his family is now a couple of thousand people who watch him regularly. Just a great guy. If you see him in person, shake his hand, give him a hug, and then he won't start talking about himself. He'll start talking about other people because that's the kind of guy he is. So YouTube Sports Card Hall of Famer. He and Dylan may actually end up getting like 100% of the vote, which, would be Mariano Rivera type numbers and absolutely deserved. So this guy, I didn't know him personally until we met at the National, and we had been texting and stuff before that. But Mike has actually become a really good friend, and the basis, the beginning of that is that he and I have a very similar sense of humor and a very similar personality when it comes to things like making fun of this or that or whatever. And if you see us in any context, in a chat, in a Discord server or talking online or whatever, you may think, oh, those guys don't like each other. They're saying terrible things about each other. But the reality is it's all a joke. It's all a put on. And the reality is I absolutely think Mike is one of the best guys around. And, in terms of his Sports Card Hall of Fame credentials, 100%. I mean, his content is amazing. I literally watch his Clearing the Bases episode every Sunday. I have a whole sort of, system. I make my video or I edit my video. I have my breakfast. I sit down on the couch. I turn on Mike. So to me, that's content that you must watch TV, seems to be his kind of content. And obviously, he's got a great collection. He talks about it. He's involved in the community, collaborations, all that. Mike is, as far as I'm concerned, 100% Hall of Famer. And as much as it hates me to say all these nice things about him, as much as it hurts me, to say all these nice things about him, it's true. And great guy, great channel, absolute Hall of Famer. Again, another great guy, great channel, absolute Hall of Famer. Does amazing things for the community. Sammy is one of those guys who, when you see him at a show, he's tall. He sticks out a little bit because he's a tall gentleman. And I'm standing with him yesterday at a show, and all these people are coming up. Hey, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. He doesn't just know YouTube guys. He knows all the guys in the show, people in the sports card community outside of YouTube. Great content, great collaboration, all of that. So obviously he's eligible this year because I think he's been like 3.5 years on YouTube, and absolute Hall of Famer, no question about it. Doug is a guy who I feel helped me move along into where I am in my space right now. And Doug DK Cardboard has kind of a persona on his channel, which I love. He's a very funny guy, very warm guy. I've talked to him off of YouTube. Terrific family man. And great collaboration with people. I know he's been on Alex's channel multiple times. And, he's one of those guys that people exchange cards with. They buy gifts to people. And, Doug doesn't make as much content as we would like, obviously. I hope he sees this, and I hope he does some more videos. But to me, he's been on YouTube for a very long time. If you go back, his channel is 15 years old. But a lot of his early content was family stuff, which is priceless. But I'd say probably about 5 years ago, he started making sports card content, and then it gradually got into the vintage collection that he has now. And, he's a killer collection also. So obviously, Doug, love him. Great YouTuber and Hall of Famer in my eyes. Eddie is a gentleman who I met. He was in the frat house in Cleveland, and I got to know him pretty well. Great knowledge of sports cards. Terrific guy, funny, really personable, and ultimately he has been on YouTube for like 5 years, and I feel like he hasn't gotten enough consideration here. And Eddie's, in my mind, his content is terrific. He's an excellent driver, I can say that, and and Hall of Famer, no question. This is Adam. Adam's Splendid Sports Card. Has done a little less content recently because of family issues, but he did a video where he's promising to do in this coming year. I know he's doing a move from literally across the country, which is taking up a lot of his time. He collaborates with Adam on, he collaborates with Dylan on a great show, and his content is terrific. I think his videos start in July of 22, so he is 21, so he's been about 3.5 years. Started out as a podcast, but now he does the videos, and just a terrific guy. Can't wait to meet him. I've actually never met him in person. Can't wait to meet him on some East Coast shows when he moves back to Massachusetts. Iconic baseball. This is probably one of my 10 votes that I know the least in person. I did meet Iconic Al briefly at the National. I think it might have even been at the YouTube get together. But great content. I would like to some point get Al's little card, which is like a T206 card of himself, which I thought from other people looked terrific. Been around for a while. They do great videos, and honestly, I wish I knew more. I wish I knew them better. But as far as I'm concerned, Hall of Famers. So these are, I think I'm on 9 and 10 now. So these last two are my, what are we doing here, folks? Why is Ryan Nolan not in the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame already? He's been on for 5 years. This guy went to, I think, like 52 shows one year, where he flew all over the country. The videos were fascinating. It's him in the airport, him at the show. He's a great seller. I've bought multiple cards from him. Great content. The dude wrote a freaking book. I mean, why is this guy not in the Sports Card Hall of Fame? I mean, he's exactly what you want. And he appears on other people's channels. In terms of the community aspect, he's one of my enablers, so to speak. When I started watching his show, I started to get more into YouTube and more into content. So honestly, why is this guy not in the Hall of Fame already? And obviously gets my vote. And I believe this is my 10th vote. And this is one of those votes that, again, I cannot believe. What are we doing here, people? Why is Chris Sewell not in the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame at this point? I mean, I know, yes, 69,000 subscribers, but you know what? He deserves every single one of them. Not only, I don't know Chris. I mean, I don't even know that he knows my name. I've met him a few times. I've shaken his hand. I've talked to him. He's a very approachable guy, but he's got a lot going on. He's a collector, investor, and dealer, but content-wise, the best channel on YouTube, honestly. I mean, I have watched Chris now religiously for several years, and he makes some fewer videos than he used to make, but still, he put out a new video yesterday. I watched it as soon as I saw it. In terms of learning about cards, 100% one of the best guys. In terms of transparency about his deals, 100%. In terms of sense of humor, the guy has one of the best dry senses of humor I've ever seen. In terms of community, he's collaborated. He's been part of the community. He's done literally everything you could possibly want out of a YouTube Sports Card Hall of Famer. And I think maybe one of the reasons he hasn't gotten voted in is because he's such a large channel. But honestly, that speaks to his how good of a channel it is. And people, please vote for Chris Sewell. I mean, come on, let's get this guy in. I mean, he gives credibility to the entire concept of the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So those are my 10 choices. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I certainly do not want to offend people who did not get one of my votes, and it's a large part. I've been on YouTube for a year and a half. I know a pretty good amount of people, but I don't know everybody. And I subscribe to like 60 channels, but again, I don't subscribe to everybody. And I'm sure there are people I've missed, and I'm sure there are people I should be watching. But from my experience, these are my 10 votes, and I feel, there's only there's only going to be 5 people getting in. But I feel like all 10 of these people are 100% YouTube Sportscard Hall of Famers. And, next year's ballot's going to be tough. But this year, I spent a lot of time on this. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. Like I said, I even did a live stream with 2 guys who I think are 100% ballot people and are going to get in this year. But, people, let's take this seriously, because we're talking about people, and I don't want it to become a popularity contest. I don't want it to become a situation where there's any controversy or where anybody's feelings are hurt. I just want it to be like Jake talked about, a celebration of the community and people in the community who've stuck out and done great work. And like I said, I set up for myself 4 different reasons to vote for people, and I feel like I did that. So thanks for watching. I'm going to have another video. I went to I went to White Plains show yesterday, and I've got a video coming up about that, which will be on my channel probably the same day that this is released. So take care, folks, and see you soon.